How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at the most recent World War III update that just launched June 13th. I'm a little late to this one because I wanted to go back and actually fire up the game and play it out and see what's been updated based on what they provided on the patch notes and how I felt those patches have been implemented. So every so often I see this game get a major update and decide to fire it up like I did these last couple of days. It feels insanely smooth and a lot better than I do remember it, which, to be honest, considering all the updates coming out, I would at least hope it feels much better than the last time. But looking at what's been updated, I was most interested with the animations and audio patches. For the animations, this is what they've fixed. They fixed head glitches corrected for standing and crouching poses when wielding all in-game weapons. They also added a new first-person perspective animations when moving with the RPG, resulting in a smoother look. This is something I noticed recently when I fired up the game and pulled out my RPG. It used to be a lot clunkier than it is now, so I like to see that, and it makes the gameplay a lot smoother. They also added new Fpp animations, including vaulting, sliding, and climbing. So the old animations for climbing and vaulting were kind of clunky, as well as sliding. It sometimes worked, it sometimes didn't, at least in my case, but the climbing was another thing as well. All of these animations that have been improved make the gameplay a lot smoother. It makes it a lot easier to get around the map when trying to just jump instead of stuttering and getting pushed back over the barrier where you just tried climbing over. They also improved FPP sprinting animations when carrying rifles and battle rifles, so certain scopes don't obscure peripheral vision. This one, I didn't really remember too much of it. I don't think I had an issue with it, and if I did, it wasn't that significant for me, so I didn't really touch base with that one. So moving on to the audio, they improved the sound of certain weapons, including gunshots and silence shots. This one wasn't that big of an issue on certain maps for me. I think the map Warsaw and Berlin were okay, and then there was another one, this snow map, I forget what it's called. That one had a bit of an issue since it was a longer map, a bigger map. I couldn't really hear shots from across the map at times. They also eliminated some of the problems with the footsteps and how audible they were when a character moved at an angle in ADS mode. That was, I guess, odd for me. I don't really remember that too much. I do remember footsteps being a big issue, and today and yesterday when I picked up the game again, it wasn't as bad, and I could kind of tell where most of the footsteps were coming, whether they were friendly or enemy related. Now, this one's a weird one, and that's the systems responsible for room reverberations with ambient sounds, and these have been optimized. Now, reverb tends to be the feedback you get from sounds bouncing off of walls no matter where you are on the map. I don't remember this one being too much of an issue, but I went back and looked at some gameplay that I had in the past, and I kind of understand what they're talking about. It's overwhelming when footsteps kind of bounce or gunshots bounce, and it seems a bit jarring. So, considering that and comparing it to what it is now, it's been a major improvement. Now, I've still ran into some issues in the loading screen. Sometimes when I load up, it will fail to sync and at times giving me an error. Though, what I will say is that trying to hit try again will often fix it. I don't remember this happening in the past, nor do I remember it when the game first came out. Maybe it's something that just came with the last couple of updates, so that could be just on my end, I'm not too sure. Now, another issue that I kind of find not too detrimental to the gameplay, but I still kind of find it as a minimal inconvenience is how fast you can find games. At certain times, I find myself sitting in the lobby for a couple minutes until I can find a game because there aren't any players. Now, like I said, it's a minimal inconvenience. You could kind of just sit there and wait if you really want to play World War III. But if you're just hopping on to get a quick game, get in and get out within the hour, you might not want to wait a couple minutes or even 10 to 15 minutes for a match. Now, that is for people who don't really care for the game as much as someone like you and I or myself, and they might put the game down and not come back to it until this issue is resolved. Now, this is what kind of causes the player base to be diminished. I don't really think this is too big of an issue for me, but I could see as how some people might not like that. Aside from that, some of the servers that I've been put into when I do find games are not very good. For some odd reason, I don't necessarily think they're North American servers or servers in my country, so I'm always kind of lagging, and the rubber banding is pretty bad. I'm always below 2 or 3 bars. Now, it's not too big an issue if you're just kind of casually playing, but if you're really serious about the gameplay, it's significantly going to affect your performance, and the hit registration as well as sometimes the maneuverability of your character becomes a bit cumbersome and inefficient in some ways. So this was just a quick update on World War III. I know I've made a few other videos. I think I've made about 3 on them, and it's nice to see how far this game has come comparing to the first video I ever made. This game I thought was going to be dead back in 2020 when I first made a video on it, but in 2022 it looks like we're up and running full speed ahead, and a lot of the updates coming out are making the gameplay that much better, and it's making the game that much better and competitive. So I don't know, what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to see an in-depth review of this game and some of the updates that have been coming out recently, do let me know. There are so many on the latest June 13th update that I don't want to cover because we'd be here for about an hour and I don't want to bore you with semantics. So I just chose the ones that I found the most interesting. If you do want to see that, do leave a comment and I'll see you guys later. Bye.